right, thank you. I'm John, that's Robin. I feel like we brought the wrong people here, maybe. We should have brought Frank, who runs our adult business, following up the Can Music Get You Laid? If not, Frank, it can at least save your evening. Sorry, no? No? Worth a try. So we're here to talk to you about a case study about Xfinity Watchathon Week. And first, I want to take a quick poll. How many people here live in an Xfinity service area? Okay, a lot. And how many of you are Xfinity customers? Okay, and then how many of you have heard about, have experienced content about the parent company, Comcast, or Xfinity, that's really about service failings? How many of you experienced that content? Be honest. You're like, okay. And that's the challenge we have to overcome. There's some real, anyone who has cable or any other video and internet service provider, you've experienced brands that have had real brand issues. And our job, our mission, is to help our customers engage with the features that come with their services and the content that comes with their services as a way to boost up the value perceptions. That's an area where we really struggle. People just think they pay too much money for what they get each month, and our job is actually to kind of shine a light on those things that make it more valuable, which is, we think, a lot of fun, and lets us do great things with like Watchathon Week. Really a centerpiece each year now of our engagement strategy of trying to get people to consume more content and enjoy it. So about 3 years ago, or 3.5 years ago, we came up with this idea of, okay, what if we unlocked tons of content for free in 1 week, no matter what level of video service you had? What if we gave you an all-access pass to a full season catch-up of the best network shows, the best cable shows, and then all of the premium networks as well? And that's what we did in year one. And back then, things have changed, but a lot of times, unless you had a premium network, you couldn't go back to the beginning of a season. If it was episode 8 of a cable or broadcast show, you'd go back to episode 4 on demand, and that's all you could get. So we unlocked all the way back to the beginning of the season, and in some cases, multiple seasons. And we did that for all of our customers, and it was a huge success. We basically unlocked all of the content that we could. And then this past year was our 3rd year, and we have a challenge in that the world has changed a little bit. Consumer expectations and content availability have shifted so that you can go back to the beginning of a season of current TV shows pretty often. There's a lot of content out there that lets you go all the way back, even if you are towards the end of the season. You can catch up on the stuff that's catching fire and you're hearing about socially. So other than the 4 premium networks, which are free for that entire week, HBO, Showtime, Cinemax, Starz, not Playboy, all unlocked for free. And that's when, that's an easy sell. But it's the other content that we're trying to bring people into that, it's a little bit of a tougher sell because, they can get that anyway. So we had to do a lot to promote the content in novel ways. And that was our big challenge this past year in April. So I'm going to give you a quick video.
2015 marked the 3rd annual Xfinity Watchathon Week, and nothing was off limits as we set out to make Watchathon the biggest week in television history.
There's nothing more fun than to binge watch good television.
Yes! Watch them back to back to back.
I have to see the next one, let's go!
We kicked things off early, teasing the event 5 weeks ahead of time, and featuring get-ready messaging in a variety of media. But we didn't stop there. We not only interacted with our customers, we also interacted with binge-worthy brands like Doritos, Taco Bell, and Lazy Boy, and engaged content creators to share the Watchathon love. Excitement spread on all social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and more, as Watchathon went viral and became a verb. Over 14.2 million viewers caught up on more than 56 million hours of the year's most buzzworthy TV shows. During the week, we saw a 38% increase in conversation from last year. Plus, over 10,000 users hashtagged their excitement for Watchathon. Our combined efforts were well worth it. The biggest week in television history also turned out to be the happiest. We succeeded in making 2015 our biggest Watchathon week yet, thanks to our awesome customers for a record-setting week of binge watching. Plans for next year are well underway. But until then, keep watching with Xfinity On Demand.
All All right, so every year we try to make that event bigger and bigger. And this year our strategy was really to almost create a national binge watching holiday. That was kind of our idea, that was our brief. And to become co-conspirators with customers in finding a way to carve out time to check out for a week and just watch great TV. No matter what series you've been hearing about and haven't been able to see, we're going to let you get back to episode 1 on that. So, and it was a huge success. It's hard to keep raising the bar each year, but we've managed to do it. This past year, we had our #1 week across all of our platforms, on VOD, online, and on mobile. And the stat that really blows my mind is 56 million hours of TV viewed in that 1 week by 14 million people who came in and consumed the content. You know, my cynical self wonders, my God, what could you do productively with 56 million hours? But instead, I'll translate that to, I think you can walk around the globe like 63,000 times or something. It's just a stunning amount of content to happen in one single week across multiple platforms. And then in terms of that lift, 24% higher viewership online over the prior year, which is a pretty big jump, and then 64% over mobile. If you're questioning if anyone's still wondering about people watching full episodes of content on mobile, they are 64% over the last year. And you know, this is just one of the things that we get to do every year that makes us so happy. We don't obviously own this professional content that's being shown during Watchdown Week, so we have to create content about the content. That's what we're promoting, and Robin's going to take you through some of the stuff we did there.
So the customers really loved it. I mean, the quotes speak for itself. If you look at Teresa Feda, Watchdown Week is the greatest week of the entire, in all caps, year, and don't let anyone tell you. We even had consumers send us photographs of them in diapers from past years of how they're watching in Watchathon. I mean, it is just a mind-blowing, the most fun, anticipated event of the week that we totally look forward to all year round. And it really evokes that emotional behavior. You know, going back to everyone telling about, it's all about storytelling, but it's the emotional behavior of catching up on shows that you've missed, that you've never been able to, or just discovering new shows. And that is something that you can just naturally talk about. And what we tried to do was we enabled storytelling. And I think that that's really a key point in your content strategy is there's one thing if we tell the story, but it's another thing if you enable that and allow the consumer to tell the story on behalf of you. So if you go to the tactics, I mean, we pulled out all stops. We did TV commercials, and we didn't just do one. We did a pre, a during, and a post-TV commercial about all the ways you can watch. We did email, we did sweepstakes, and we didn't just do a normal sweepstakes. We gave out like $20,000 every day. Like it was just, you know, we pulled out all stops. But what I'm most proud about is some of our social efforts. So going back to the enabling, we created a user-gen experience of how do you watch-a-thon. And we had over 4,000 people tell us how they watch-a-thon. And it was just, you know, with using the Xfinity hashtag all throughout that experience. We hired content creators. So you saw in the video, we had Paz Dillon. He got like something like 1,000 pizza boxes and put together a pizza throne and showed us how he was watching Game of Thrones premiere and getting ready for it. And we just got, you know, we engaged with brands because we just tried to think outside the box of like, how can we make this fun? How can we make this an ownable event for us? We created, to get ready and prepare for the event, excuse generators. So you could tell your boss, I'm not going to be in work this week, and the good reasons why, or how you're missing school, or whatever that, you know, wherever you are in your life cycle. But we really just had a lot of fun with it. We did personality quizzes. I mean, it's just, I can't even remember. There was so much content that we produced. It was like over 14,000 pieces of content in like a short period of time that we produced and then amplified to tell the consumer story of some of the best. And we had a war room during that whole week, and we really focused on kind of having fun with consumers. If someone said, oh, I think I'm getting a cough, we would give them a doctor's note and like, you know, so they can customize it for themselves. And we just really had fun with this initiative.
And it's easy to have fun when you're a brand that is often under fire and the content about you is generally pretty negative. It's great when, you know, customers will pick up and rally for you and say thank you, like thanks Xfinity. Normally that's followed by some snarky comment, but this week it's not. It's like thank you. You know, you gave me a reason to get into the show that I've been hearing about, and I just watched 3 seasons of it in 2 days, wearing a diaper. You know, yeah. That's actually true. Am I going on there?
No, sure. So if you go to the next slide, you know, as kind of takeaways of, okay, this was a massive, massive event, but what could you do and learn from this experience? That you always want to think about the relationship as a two-way street, and so what's in it for you? So when we engage with our 45 plus programmers, we packaged up customized messages with their content and made it really turnkey and easy for them and what the win was, and we showed them what kind of lift we could give them in terms of viewership if they supported it in social. And then we reached out to the fan sites, and we gave them a badge and saying, you are the official fan site for Game of Thrones, and we're going to give you all the Game of Thrones content that we've secured over the past year for you to tell your friends and how they can watch-a-thon with us. So we really made it a win-win for everybody that we engaged with. We combed the internet, you know, with our social listening platforms, and consumers said, why didn't I know about this sooner? I wish I did. We reached out to them well in advance, said it's coming. We want you to get prepared. We gave them a kit for how to get prepared for it. You know, we gave them days of the week sweatpants so they can have a semi-hygienic way of watching Watch-a-thon. You know, we just really had fun with this initiative, and we showed that we listened and that we capitalized on that experience.
Yeah, I remember we were heading into this year, and I was recounting once again how after 2 years of this event, I was kind of get frustrated when I would hear customers like last year say, oh, I wish I'd known about this. And meanwhile, we're blowing like 900 GRPs of our free cross-channel TV media to tell people about this, and still our customers weren't aware. And Robin's like, well, I have the list of all the people who said that last year, and we're going to reach out to them in advance with this binge box. I'm like, cool. So, you know, it's that kind of targeting. And, you know, I think when Robin talked about making it easy for the programmers to share, when Fox and HBO and Showtime and, you know, talent from some great shows actually are helping you promote this week, you know, it's kind of a sexy event. We get caught up in that. But some of these direct response principles still apply. I mean, we learn every year just over and over, using the word free. This stuff is free this week. You know, targeting, personalization, reaching out to people who've reached out to us before. And bringing countdowns, a sense of urgency into it. All those direct response principles work even on, you know, really sexy content that you think would just automatically take over. So big takeaway for us. And with that, I think we just have opportunity for questions if there are any. But I can't
Is everyone ready for Watch-a-thon?
Yeah, it's coming next April, so there's a question over there. What do you are, COO? Yeah. Hey, let's do it again next quarter. Like, we'll die. We do some sort of quarterly content stunt always. It's not on the scale of this. There's a bunch of logistical hurdles with unlocking free content like that in terms of having rights to do it. But yeah, we do a quarterly content stunt of some sort where we're, you know, bringing something forward that might not necessarily hit everyone's radar, but yeah, in terms of an annual big tentpole event, that yeah, we're kind of limited to doing the one a year like this.
So our next one is Free Channel Week. It is 10/6 is their date.
Yeah, and that's really for, you know, if you're at a lower tier service, it'll take you up a notch. So here's what you have. Here's what you could have if you were at a level higher. That's more of an upsell thing. This is more of a, you know, let's celebrate the customer experience and what we're delivering, and, you know, give you a reason to want to stick around or come into the Xfinity umbrella.
I was just gonna say, what was the lift in performance you saw? Like, did you see like an uplift in subscriptions or people actually subscribing to Showtime or HBO during this week? And did you kind of say before and after and what you're seeing as a trend there?
Yeah, and timing's everything. Promotion is everything too. So we timed the event to be the week leading up to the premiere of Game of Thrones. In that time period, a lot of great shows are finaleing, and then HBO's got their slate coming back. So yeah, to answer your question, the week after is always the biggest week for upgrades for HBO and Showtime and Cinemax.
So we've broken all of HBO's records.
Yeah, like they love this because subscriptions go through the roof. It's not entirely why we do it. You know, that's not a big revenue generator necessarily. It's really more about giving customers a reason to care about the fact they've got, you know, a good on-demand service, and that is our biggest point of differentiation. So we want to shine a light on that.
So you guys had the slide that showed all of the different activations across various channels. Seems very overwhelming. Curious if you can talk a little bit about either the size or resources of your team, and were there any examples or decisions that you guys made on the channels that you promoted on, and maybe even an example of where it didn't fit, it didn't make sense?
Sure. You want to start?
We are a lean, scrappy team. So within the social organization, I'm one full-time, and then we have 2 contractors, and then we utilize agencies. So we are very, very lean.
And then also on the team, there are 2 people who are kind of doing managing the program, and our agencies to do all the work that you saw. There's no paid media, virtually no paid media. We do a little bit to seed. This year we did a little bit to seed some of the content that Robin talked about that we created with some of these, these Instagram and Vine stars, but not a lot of paid media. So the investment is, from a dollar perspective, low. A lot of demand on agencies.
And we leverage a lot of our programmers. I mean, they're
That's
just
true.
so great. They see a huge win. Stars saw a huge, not only we broke HBO records every year, but we break Stars records in terms of, so we leverage them as much as we can. And, we have a whole entire editorial team that goes out to TCA every year. So we know that that's our one shot to get time with talent. And, we arm that TCA team, the editorial team, of like, who's the, the biggest talent with huge social presence, and you have to get an interview, and I need you to ask this question. And, so we think about this throughout the whole year too. It's preparation is really key.
Yeah.
And then we just don't sleep.
Hi. One more back there.
Just more of a strategy question for you, but with Netflix, the platform that shall not be named, but Netflix and these other over-the-top providers coming in and doing a lot of this type of stuff, are you guys looking at even newer models of creating engagement? Because being able to watch everything now is kind of normal on these other things. So what do you know what I mean? Not to insult what you've done, because it's amazing, but I'm just saying.
No. Yes is the answer. We are always looking at new models. Our on-demand programming team is experimenting all the time with new ways to create new release windows. We just did something with NBC on a show where, I forget, we put basically four episodes up, or a couple episodes up before it started. They're playing with windows all the time. I think the thing with Netflix is, they've got a couple things. They've got their amazing original content that we all watch and love, that they release all at one time. And then there's, the library content, where we try to differentiate our platform is we've got the best on-demand platform for current season TV. Stuff that's on now, not, last season's or, 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, but what's on now. And that's really what our customers respond to. The TV viewership, on-demand TV viewership for us has grown just exponentially over the years. And it's because our customers are trained. And DVR, by the way, our DVR usage is way below other providers, because our customers have become accustomed to knowing that if there's a show that's on in season now, I'll be able to find it on demand. They just know that. So that's kind of how we differentiate, but we're always experimenting with new windows and new trials like that.
Yeah, for Empire, for the season premiere, is we automatically offered the first 6 episodes to Xfinity customers. And it had an automatic play next, and then they had the premiere. And so we, feel as though that we attributed to that success with Fox. And they've said that so too, along with obviously a number of other factors.
Yeah.
Question I have is about, in the back, I'm sorry.
Oh, hi.
You open with the fact that the brand is hit by a lot of negative sentiment for a business department that you have no control over, right? But this opportunity obviously is a way to change brand sentiment. Did you measure brand sentiment analysis before and after to see if your content marketing approach actually had a positive impact on the brand versus just giving away a bunch of free content, which is always great, but it has an end goal of something that's going to be more measurable and impactful to the business to combat that negative sentiment?
Yeah, so we are constantly in market. We have a brand tracking study that is always on. Basically, it runs every single month, so we can see brand sentiment. We haven't done with Watchdown. We've done pre-post on awareness and consideration and things like that. We always see a lift with people who've consumed it. And we've also seen, we actually go back and we look at, in a few markets, we've been able to go in and look at customers who before, and we only have this in some markets where we can actually see this, customers who before Watchdown Week were basically what we call VOD nevers. They have not been into VOD or have only been in once in the past like 3 months. And then we expose all this content during Watchdown Week, and we go back in and then the following 3, 4, 5 months, see what they're doing, and they're actually consuming content on the platform. So, it's got an actual usage and engagement metric that we track. And then, we do track brand sentiment, and it's challenging to carve out people who have participated in Watchdown and ask them if they've got a higher consideration, but we're always looking to kind of understand what are the brand lifts associated with this.
And I think to add to that, it's an ongoing conversation. It can't just be an annual event where you're asking us when you can do that more. So right now we are the lead sponsor of the 1989 World Tour with Taylor Swift, and so we're offering exclusive content. We're giving hundreds and hundreds of tickets away to consumers that talk about Taylor Swift and our connection with Xfinity, and we're giving them iPads and a number of other things. Yeah. So that we're doing a number of different activities to try to engage with the consumer and show them the value that they get with their subscription.
Okay, unfortunately that's all the time we have. We're a little over, and we're going to have breakouts later, but thank you very much for the presentation. Appreciate it.